The program you are about to view was produced by SAIT Polytechnic students. The content of the program is the sole responsibility of the producers and in no way represents the views of Shaw Cable Systems.
Good afternoon and welcome to SAIT Newsfile. I'm Dania Gravel with news. Matt Nemeth will have sports and Bria Jupe has our weather. She's outside right now and Bri, this isn't quite how we wanted to start our spring, is it?
No, Dania, it is not. As you can see, the snow is still coming down a little bit and it's still expected to go on tomorrow, but I will have that in the full weather report for you later on in the show.
Great, thanks Bri. And Matt, I hear it's a pretty big day in sports today.
Yes, a lot going on. March Madness continuing on, as well as the SAIT Trojans men's hockey team kicking off the ACAC Championship tonight. But I'll have that and more later on in sports.
Great, thanks Matt. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Premier Alison Redford's resignation takes effect this Sunday, and there are a lot of questions about whether or not the PC party can recover from all of this. Our reporter Stephanie Ponte has been following the story and joins us live from outside SAIT campus. Stephanie, what are the next steps for the PC party?
Well, Dania, for the next few months, it's going to be interesting. Dave Hancock has taken the reins of the party as interim premier for the moment. And I spoke to David Stewart, who's a political scientist at U of C, and he says that the party is going to have to go through motions to set up a leadership race.
That's going to be fascinating because we're going to see a debate as to whether the Conservatives should be reaching more out to Wildrose or whether they should be trying to rebuild the kind of more progressive coalition that Alison Redford put together when she won the leadership.
Stewart said that the party has in store some internal debates for the priorities of the party.
Stephanie, is this the window for Danielle Smith and the Wildrose Party to try and take control of the Alberta government?
Dania, if statistics show, if elections were to take place right now, statistics show that the Wildrose Party would absolutely dominate, but the PC government still has some time.
If this had happened a year later, there wouldn't be much time for the Conservatives to turn things around. But they've got time to work, they've got time for the economy to improve, and they've taken the sort of negatives about Premier Redford's issues out of the equation.
Wildrose leader Danielle Smith has said that elections might potentially come sooner than expected.
In the meantime, Dave Hancock is in charge. Stephanie, what do you think his focus is right now?
Absolutely, Dania. So the focus of the PC party at the moment and for Hancock has to be stability, not making any major changes and trying to keep things just as smooth as possible.
Stephanie Ponte reporting live from outside SAIT campus. Alison Redford is coming under more fire even after announcing her resignation. Her office is facing more accusations of careless spending after a six-figure severance payouts are going out to staff. The total severance for the senior people in the Premier's office is amounting to hundreds of thousands of dollars. The Canadian Taxpayers Federation estimates that the severance package could range from $100,000 to more than $300,000. The fate of several other senior staffers has not yet been confirmed. It's that time of year again, tax season. Each year, billions of dollars go unclaimed in government rebates due to the simple fact that many people don't know how to file their own taxes. This year, SAITSA is trying to keep some of those dollars in students' pockets. If you're a SAIT student and make less than $30,000 annually, you can get your taxes done for free by the Community Volunteer Income Tax Program. When getting your taxes filed, you need some essential documents before the program can help you. Documents like your T4 slips, Canadian tax forms, UPass docs, all come in handy.
It's a program that's administered by the CRA, which allows people with income under $30,000 to come and have their taxes done for free. It's a great alternative to other options like H&R Block and other tax preparation places where they actually charge you money, because we prepare it and we get everything ready for you for free.
Make sure you file your taxes on or before April 30th, 2014. When you hear of bubbles, you normally think of having a hot bath or children playing. Well, now SAIT is using them in a new and green way. The high-tech greenhouse on the SAIT campus is used by cooking students and is now powered by soap bubbles, solar panels, and biodiesel. This means the greenhouse can now be used year-round, even during our cold Canadian winters. The off-grid, 4-season bubble greenhouse is perfect for keeping plants growing healthy, despite low temperatures felt during the school year. The solar panels along the structure and biodiesel from SAIT's many teaching kitchens help keep the floor and individual planting beds heated. But that's not what makes this greenhouse unique.
The greenhouse itself is a soap bubble insulated, biodiesel heated greenhouse. And what that really means is we're filling a wall cavity and a roof cavity with a high density, very dry soap bubble foam.
The greenhouse will stay a warm 25 degrees even if outside temperatures drop down to -40. SAIT is eager to give students a chance to broaden their ingredient lists all year round. SAIT is offering a new certification program called Operations for Hydraulic Fracturing. And if you are not quite sure what that means, Stephanie Ponte gives us a crash course on this highly demanded program.
SAIT has been fervently working with 16 different energy companies to develop a fast-paced 10-course program that gives students the skills to employ the best practices in integrated water management.
And it's a program that industry came to SAIT and said, we need water technology operators for the big oil sands plants, for the fracking, the water that's involved with fracking.
Expected higher from the get-go, very probable. And despite your personal opinions on fracking, the value that it brings is, well, immeasurable.
In this last cold spell, basically North America was using natural gas. About half of that comes from fracking. So in other words, if we wouldn't have had that gas from fracking, everyone would have been freezing in the dark.
We listen to industry, and we're funded by industry as well as the government, which is unique. SAIT, we receive about a third of our funding from industry and 2/3 from the government, whereas other educational institutions receive about 100% of their funding from government. So when cutbacks come, we don't feel them as hard at SAIT because we do have another stream of revenue, and that's industry.
For those who would like to learn more about fracking and, in turn, more about the program, Ken Evans will be hosting an in-depth informational session on sustainable fracking at the University of Calgary on April 1st in the 3rd floor of the Haas School of Business from 4 to 6. For those who already know they would like to join the program, SAIT is already taking applications. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Stephanie Ponte.
If you made your way to the Gateway this afternoon, you may have wondered why everyone was happily watching a health code violation be blatantly broken. Today, SAITSA held the Shave Your Lid for a Kid event, which may be the reason you'll be seeing some interesting haircuts on campus in the following days. Bangat Kuth has more.
Well, it's just great to see so many people being altruistic and willing to give up that portion of their income to help somebody else.
The Gateway Campus Bar was full of students and staff who came to watch as a brave few shaved their heads for cancer research. The event, held at SAIT for the 2nd year in a row, raised more than $15,000 in just a few months.
They may not even see the direct benefits of it, but their kids and their grandkids will see that their kids will actually overcome cancer, or at least that's the hope.
Crookshank was one of the brave few who decided the hair on his head should be taken off. It took an interesting turn when he decided he'd shave off everything but his one eyebrow for $1,000. In a matter of minutes, Crookshank was in the chair saying goodbye to his hair. Cara Dule was another who shaved her head, and she shaved everything but her bangs for $200, pushing the fundraising total up over $2,000 in just 1 hour.
Anybody could get cancer at any time, and it affects tons and tons of people, and people support this foundation because it's not just cancer, because there are a lot of other organizations for that as well, but it's kids, and I know that being a kid itself is really hard, and suffering from such a disease must be extremely difficult for those kids and their families. So it's a good foundation, and I fully support them.
All money raised at this event goes to the Kids Cancer Care Foundation.
It's slippery out there.
This event goes to show that whether you've got 2 inches of hair or 15, you're making a huge difference in somebody's life. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Ban Gatkuth.
The weather may not be ideal this week, but there are still a lot of great events going on around Calgary. Bria Jupe has all the details in our community calendar.
Ever wanted to see art from the perception of the artist? Then head to U of C for the interactive art exhibit POV. The collaborative installation project is free. The 14th annual Funny Fest Talent Search will see Calgary's best stand-up comedians tonight at Kaylee's Irish Pub. Arrive early, space will be limited. Head over to Vertigo Theatre for a story of truth, betrayal, and romance. Closer starts tonight and is on till April 5th. Looking for an escape? Join the Grape Escape at the BMO Centre, and you can look forward to sampling all the best wines, spirits, and beer from here and around the world. If you haven't been over to the John Dutton Theatre for the Coming Out monologues, tonight is the last night. Performances start at 7:30. Tickets available online at brownpapertickets.com. Calling all dancers, David Guetta will be hosting a night of electronic music at the BMO Centre this Sunday. Tickets are available online or at the door.
I've been a big sister for just over 3 years. I absolutely believe it 100% that would be an impact for them.
We walk the dog, we bake, and we swim together.
She makes me feel like every bad thing that happened that day is just gone because she's so much fun and she's just so full of personality and life. It's awesome.
Happiness.
Every day, thousands of Alberta's first responders work to support our province. As of December 10th of 2012, the province is supporting them back.
Alberta Bill 1 finally offers support to our first responders and their families in order to deal with the effects of post-traumatic stress wounding. If you or someone you know is suffering from the debilitating effects of post-traumatic stress, go to firefighterveteran.com. There is help available. You are not alone.
It's the second day of spring, but it feels like winter hasn't let go of us yet. Let's take a look at things in the West Coast. Starting off in Vancouver, looking pretty good there, mix of sun and cloud, high of 8 degrees. Getting over to Alberta though, feeling a little bit cooler over there in the capital at -11, although the sun is out, which is great to see, but we'll talk about that later. Moving over into the Prairie, Regina as well, feeling that low pressure system at -13 with a mix of sun and cloud. And Winnipeg, feeling the flurries there at -14. Let's take a look at the east. Over in Toronto, can't go wrong there. 0 degrees with some overcast. Montreal feeling a bit the same at 2 degrees. But it's Halifax that is the warmest over there in the east at 5 degrees. And of course, St. John's up there at 3 degrees. If that's not warm enough for you, let's take a look at the resorts. Bust out your sunnies in Palm Springs. It's going to be a lovely 29 degrees. Barbados is sitting pretty at 27. Honolulu is helping you with your tan at 26. And it's a great day to take a walk down the strip in Las Vegas at 24 degrees. Bringing things back home, we were at about -11 degrees today with touch and go flurries throughout the day and a bit of wind coming in at 8 kilometers an hour. And I'm sorry to say it's still going to continue into tomorrow. -9 degrees is the high, but let's take a look at the rest of the province. There's the sun over up there in Edmonton at -11 degrees. Over up in Grand Prairie, still very, very chilly with that low pressure system at -9. Up in Fort Mac, it's -10, a little bit warmer than it was yesterday, so things are improving there. Over down in the southern part of Alberta, things are looking good for the snowboarders and the skiers at -5 degrees in Banff. Still getting more of that snow there as well. Over in Lethbridge, again, -11, still feeling that snow as well. Let's go over to the 5-day forecast and see if things are going to improve. Unfortunately, they are not. We are going to get down to a low of -16 degrees, and tomorrow we're going to experience a high of 9. Over to the next day, that should be the warmest day there at 5 degrees. Things are looking a little bit cooler the next day at -11 and more snow on the way with a high of 3 degrees. Let's take a look at the snow report. If you're looking at heading to the Rocky Mountains this first weekend in spring, things are looking good at sunshine, but don't forget your balaclava. Winds are still going to be a factor. A bluebird sky combined with a solid snow base is making for some excellent riding conditions in Lake Louise, with temperatures expected to be in the low double digits. Nikiska faring much the same temperature-wise at 10 degrees with just a few centimeters less in their snowpack at 190 centimeters. Marmot Basin has a mix of sun and clouds with 131 centimeters coming in a little bit chillier at minus 17 degrees. If you're thinking about heading out to BC for the weekend, make sure you head up to Big White. They've got a whopping 240 centimeters of snow and 70 centimeters just from this week alone. Kimberley also has lots of the white stuff as well. Luckily, you'll only need a light jacket. They're currently sitting at minus 1 degree.
So, Matt, did you hear about the Chuck Wagon Derby last night?
I did, yes, the tarp auction. It actually raised, I think it was the 4th largest amount in its 36-year history. And of course, what would be the Stampede without those Chuck Wagon races?
Definitely. I definitely agree. It'll help Calgary's economy tremendously. Melissa Holmes actually reports last night that, if any indication, we are definitely on a roll.
The Rangeland Derby Tarp auction brought in close to $3.5 million last night. It's very close to last year's total and came as no surprise to everyone there.
I was very impressed. You know, it's kind of the gauge that everybody goes by. The economy in Alberta seems to be well, and everybody's in a good mood. Everybody's ready for spring, and everybody's ready for the Calgary Stampede, the greatest outdoor show on earth.
There were a few surprises with sponsors at this year's auction.
Jason Glass!
Last year's Derby champion winner Jason Glass broke his 22-year relationship with Shaw GMC when MJ's Water Hauling won his tarp space with the highest bid of the night at $170,000. 12-time champion Kelly Sutherland received last night's second highest bid at $145,000, down from his top $200,000 bid last year.
This is really where we find out what we're worth, you know, in budget terms.
Sutherland came in 25th in the ridings, a big fall from his usual placings.
The goal is, you know, to have a lot better year than I had last year at the Stampede. I don't think, you know, that's going to be much of a challenge. I mean, I think last year was kind of unique for me. I just entered the Stampede and things didn't go right.
There are a few drivers retiring after this year whose numbers were a bit of a shock.
There was probably a couple of really good drivers, veteran drivers that maybe went a little under the wire, but you know, it's hard to gauge. It's nice to see some of the young guys get big money.
While some veteran riders did not get as high of bids as was anticipated, they say it just helps them to ride harder in the coming season. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Melissa Holmes.
Well, it's the day the SAIT men's hockey team has been waiting for since September. Tonight they kick off the ACAC Championship against NAIT in Edmonton in what will be a Polytechnic Battle of Alberta for supremacy. Stefan Quas now joins us live from the SAIT Arena. Stefan, the Trojans haven't been lighting the lamp as much as they like lately. What will they have to do against NAIT to remedy that?
Well, that's exactly right, Matt. SAIT only scored 4 goals in their weekend series win over Augustana, and on top of that, they were shut out twice by NAIT in their meetings in January. But the team isn't that concerned. They feel that they've been playing well defensively. They only allowed 2 goals against Augustana. They feel if on the road they can bury the opportunities that they do get, they should be able to pick up the win if they play solid defensively, and that'll give them a chance to come back home for a championship game on Game 2.
Now, Stefan, a lot has been made about the fact that for defenseman Joe Babby and forward Brad Drobot, this is their 4th kick at the can, and the previous 3 times they've come up short. What will their experience from those losses do to help the guys around them?
Well, Matt, it's not quite Ray Bork trying to win the Stanley Cup with the Colorado Avalanche, but you're right, Drobot and Babby, this is their 4th chance to win the championship, 3 times so far without winning. And you got to remember that most of the players on the team were also in last year's final against NAIT that NAIT won, so redemption is on the mind of most of the team. I talked to Joe Babby, and he says that extra motivation could be the difference maker for SAIT.
It's going to be a big
big year for us, and being potentially my last year, it's huge. And being here 3 times now, losing last year in the final, got that bitter taste in your mouth still. So it'll be a big one to win.
Well, revenge sure can be a great motivator.
Indeed it can, Matt.
Stefan Quaz reporting live from the SAIT Arena. Here is how the series will play out schedule-wise. Tonight the game is in Edmonton. Nate securing home ice advantage with their first spot ACAC finish. Game 2 is tomorrow night at 7 here at the SAIT Arena, and if necessary, Game 3 will go Sunday evening at 6:30 up in Edmonton. While the Trojans are nearing the end of their playoffs, the Hitmen have just begun theirs, but it didn't start off the way they were hoping. Taking on the Kootenay Ice in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinal last night at the Dome, the Hitmen struggled with their discipline, and it cost them. Kootenay took advantage of the 7 power plays they had in the game, cashing in on 3 of them. Ice standout Sam Reinhart was big for Kootenay, scoring 2 goals and collecting an assist. Hitmen season point leaders Greg Chase and Brady Brassert added the lone goals for Calgary. Game 2 goes tomorrow night at 7 here in town. Greg Chase and Brady Brassart each had 85 points. Jake Vertanen scored 45 goals, but it was an often overlooked defenseman who took home big honors for the Calgary Hitmen this season. Stefan Quaz has the details.
In his first 2 seasons with the Calgary Hitmen, defenseman Kenton Helgeson scored a total of 3 goals. But this year has been completely different. Helgeson put together a strong season for Calgary and was named Player of the Year for the Hitmen.
It was shock, actually, more than anything. I didn't expect that. There's some great hockey players on this team, and there's a lot of guys that could have got it instead of me. But I was kind of shocked to get it, but I was kind of at a loss of words, honestly. But it was an honor, and I was very excited.
Helgeson exploded offensively, putting up 10 goals and 51 points. But the offensive improvement did not come at the cost of his play in his own end.
He had a great year. He was the most versatile and reliable and consistent player all year long. He's always a guy that would give 110 no matter what the score was or what kind of day he was having. He was always he's the true identity of what we want to be as a team.
For Helgeson, the excitement over the award quickly subsided as he focuses on the Hitmen's first-round matchup against the Kootenay Ice. He believes he needs to stay on an even keel to help the team succeed.
We just got to worry about keeping our composure. I know from previous years, guys get really excited for playoffs. You don't want to get overexcited and just kind of keep your composure.
Helgeson was selected by the Anaheim Ducks at the 2012 NHL entry draft, and his season has raised his stock as a prospect. But right now, he says his only concern is helping Calgary to a WHL title. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Stefan Quaz.
There are only 13 games left on the season for the Flames, and for the most part this year, there hasn't been much to get excited about. But tonight there's a bit of a buzz percolating as 21-year-old rookie Kenny Agostino is expected to make his NHL debut. In a 4-year career at Yale, which just wrapped up, Agostino collected 56 goals and 76 assists. Agostino, who signed an entry-level contract Monday, was picked up by the Flames in the trade that sent longtime captain Jerome McGinley over to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Well, the madness has entered into day 2, and so far it's lived up to its name. As always, the round of 64 has produced some major upsets, with by far the biggest one happening today. Number 14 seed Mercer stunned the college basketball world earlier with a 78-71 win over number 3 seed Duke. The biggest shocker yesterday was number 5 Oklahoma losing to number 12 North Dakota State 80-75. Other notable upsets so far include number 11 Dayton edging out number 6 Ohio State 60-59 and number 12 Harvard beating number 5 Cincinnati 61-57. First round action continues tonight while the round of 32 starts tomorrow. And that is it for sports.
Great, thanks Matt. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at something unique in the downtown core that many pedestrians are utilizing.
Growing up, I never had a dog, but I've always felt like I've needed one in my life. I chose the Calgary Humane Society because of how well they treat the animals and how simple it was. He had all his vaccinations and identification all included in the adoption fee. along with being neutered. Everyone at the Calgary Humane Society was very helpful and walked me through the adoption step by step. He makes my life so much better. I gave him a home, he gave me a family.
In order to look to the future, we must first remember our past. It is our goal at Fort Calgary to preserve our history for new generations of history makers. That's why right now we are redeveloping Fort Calgary into something new, something exciting, all the while still connecting to and embracing what brought us here. And we can do it with your help. Help us make history by donating or volunteering today.
There are many places in the city of Calgary designed for foot traffic. There is one place in particular, if you've been in the city centre, you've probably seen it or even used it yourself. Shauna Preslin takes a stroll along the Plus 15 walkway system.
If you're in the downtown core of Calgary for the first time, it won't take long to notice how many downtown pedestrians get around.
I use the Plus 15 every morning and every night, coming to work and then going back to my car.
All the time, pretty much every day, 4 or 5 times a day.
To get my lunch, to get a coffee, to get from one meeting to the next, I use the Plus 15 every day.
First opening to the public in 1970, Calgary's Plus 15 walkway system is now the largest in the world. Many Calgarians value its convenience, especially during the winter months.
Well, I think it's a big draw. I don't know of anything else like it in the world, really. And I think given our climate, especially in the winter, a lot of people talk about it and the convenience of it. And, when they ask about office space and where you are, the question always comes up, are you connected to the Plus 15? Because it's just such a convenience to have.
Especially on days like today where it's minus 27, I don't think anybody in their right minds would select to walk outside. I mean, when you have the option of walking through a warm concourse or a padway, it's a logical choice, right?
With 62 bridges and 18 kilometers of heated walkway, the Plus 15 offers access to food, retail, and other services, as well as other benefits to pedestrian traffic.
You're not having to bundle up this time of the year to walk to a meeting or that sort of thing. It's just, you can just grab your briefcase or your iPad and take off from the office dressed like I am right now.
Just convenience. It's fun to walk through them. You get to walk over the roads and see the cars going underneath you, and there's no stoplights. You can continue walking. You see different things. It's kind of like like you're walking through streets of Italy, but you're in Calgary and you get to see all sorts of things as you go to work and back.
And what drawbacks do Calgarians see?
A lot of people come to work before 7, so it's kind of a drag if you're walking in the Plus 15, you get to a certain building and then it's still locked if you're early.
On the cold days, you'll notice that at lunchtime it gets really crowded. Other than that, I think it's great.
The Plus 15 system even has a free app to help out foot traffic in the core. It provides a map, and if you get lost, it will pinpoint your position within the walkway system. Whether you're on a lunch break or a shopping day downtown, if you're looking for a way to get around, just look up 15 feet.
A new study is showing the human nose is much more powerful than originally thought. Apparently, our sniffer can detect at least 1 trillion different odors. That's a lot more than the previous estimate that humans can detect around 10,000 scents. So it must be true what they say, the nose knows. And I don't know about you guys, but I'll be wrapping up my nose this weekend. Bree, do you want to check out the 5-day forecast?
Yes, Dane, that's a good idea. It's going to be very chilly this weekend. We are going to get down to minus 16 tonight, so definitely if you are going out, make sure that you are bundling up. And if you are heading out towards the mountain, you're going to see a lot of flurries out there as well. I don't know if you guys are taking in Sunshine or Lake Louise, but they are going to be getting a lot of snow. So
great, maybe we'll head out there. From all of us at SAIT Newsfile, thanks for joining us.